Modi is a monster. And the headline says that, and it fits. There are two unspeakable reasons why I say Modi is a monster. Here's the first reason why, and I'm going to speak it out very loudly and clearly to you. Modi is a Christian killer. Right now in his country, he is killing Christians. He is currently purging India of all Christians and burning church buildings down. I think we should reciprocate in kind. Let's purge New Zealand of Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims. And while we're at it, if they're burning churches down, why don't we burn mosques and their temples down? Tit for tat. You know, this stuff that's been going on and been hidden by Modi has to be revealed. Our friend Modi is also covering or harbouring mass rapes of little girls. That's right, little girls. Mass raping their little girls in that country. What's happening here is that 10-year-old girls, and I'm saying little girls, not young girls, these are 10-year-old girls, and down to 5, 6, and 7. I'm actually I'm upset right now in saying this. These girls are given to Indian men, grown men, who are animals. They take them and they do their wicked way with them. That's right. It's called child brides in India, and it's been going on for some time. I understand also Muslims do it. Islam is doing the same thing, giving young girls, little girls, the age of my great-granddaughters. I've got 2 of them who are 7, 8. The other one is 5. I could not imagine those 2 little girls being given to full-grown men, and that's a custom and a tradition that they've been doing for a long time. I think as a father and a grandfather and a great-grandfather, I'd go and get my pig hunting gun and go around and visit them. That's what I'd do, my shotgun. I think it's despicable. There are literally 12 million, you heard right, 12 million little girls under the age of 10 that are child brides in India right now. I understand that 10 million of them are to Hindus and the other 2 million are to Muslims. This behaviour has been going on for a long time. And you know what gets me about this? Is that our politicians, Luxon, Peters and Seymour, have known all about this. And this is not just some trumped up stuff or misinformation that Brian Tamaki's feeding out. Oh no, they have contravened and violated international obligations and human rights requirements. So they've been at them for a long time, the United Nations, but they haven't listened. So why have our politicians put a welcoming mat out for Modi to come to this country to shake hands with the FTA deal, that agreement, when they knew that this despicable, sick depravity of sexual rape is going on to young girls like this? I believe this is a time and a place for me to make a call to every warm-blooded Kiwi father, grandfather and great-grandfather and all the mums. But I believe we need to get together and we need to say publicly and let the politicians know that we want to ban Modi from having entry into New Zealand. He should not come into New Zealand with those sort of human rights records and allowing those little girls to be torn apart by these beasts. And the other thing is we need to crash the FTA. It is not helpful to Kiwis. It doesn't benefit us. It's all weighed on one side for Indian investment while we get mass immigration and much more of it. And I'm going to hand you to Jenny, who's going to give you a few more stats to see why Modi is a monster. Jen?
Yeah, it's deeply concerning. As Kiwi mum, hearing about these child brides, gosh, it really does rip at your heart. And I mean, like yourself, I've got nieces and they're of that age, and to hear that they're 10 years and younger, these child brides, these 12 million married children under 10 and 84% of them are Hindus and the rest are Muslims, like you were saying. And I was having a look at how old are these child brides, and it really disturbed me when the word infant popped up, that some of them are infants who are child brides. So an infant is a baby that's just between the age of birth and 1 year old. Like they're marrying them off at this age. The other thing that was really disturbing is to see that a lot of them are being hospitalised because of the sexual activity that's taking place. It's sexual abuse. It's child abuse.
Some of them have died.
Well, exactly. And you touched on a really good point there about the international law. And there's actually been a hearing that's been happening just recently in May in the US. It's the US Commission on, they're looking at deteriorating religious freedom conditions in India. And this specifically relates to how they're treating Christians, but women and children that have been raped and sexually abused because of their Christian faith. And there's all these different international laws that Modi and the Indian government are violating. And, you know, often we see and hear in New Zealand that our politicians want to stop other people coming into our country because they have committed crimes against humanity. Well, Modi and his whole government have committed crimes against humanity. So there's no way that any warm-blooded Christian or warm-blooded Kiwi should be in any way welcoming Modi into this country, because shall I read out just some of these international laws that they have violated?
Yes.
So Christians are being killed for their faith.
So sorry, say that again.
Christians are being killed for their faith.
Can I just say this down the camera? Did you hear that? They are killing Christians in India. And while Modi's going around the world right now, he's traveling around the world. He's supposed to be coming to New Zealand. I hope we can stop him. But as a Christian country, I find that despicable, that he's purging, that's the word they use, purging Christians right out of India by killing, hunting them down and burning their churches. Actually, this is a good reason why we can not reciprocate in the same. Let's get rid of Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims. I'm saying it again. And why don't we burn down their mosques and their temples? Let's reciprocate. Why should we? Why is it always one way, Jen?
Yeah.
That we are weak in the West.
No.
And we take this rubbish, what they're doing over there to Christians, burning churches, and here they're erecting and growing and building more temples and mosques.
Yeah, well, when they're having...
I just don't get Kiwis. I don't get these politicians and why they allow this.
When they're having church services, they're absolutely busting in. Mobs are busting in and attacking them and beating them. Oh. And that's another violation of the right to peacefully assemble. And, you know, they get upset when we go out into the streets and object to them parading in our streets. But look at what they're doing over in India to Christian communities. This one really, really tears at your heart is Christian women and girls are being raped and sexually abused because of their faith. And like we were just touching on, even with these child brides, I mean, how despicable that if you're a Christian woman or a child even in that country, that they believe because of your faith that they can sexually rape and sexually abuse you. You know, and these little kids, the trauma, the physical, kids are not designed to be having that kind of, you know, they're getting ripped apart, and it just really, really makes your blood boil. And that's what every time I see a photo of Modi smiling, shaking someone else's hand, I'm like, man, you are such a monster.
You know, Jen, I talked about this on Tamaki Live, and when people heard it, you could see literally, particularly the men and the women, were really upset. I think it was unbelievable when they first heard it, you know, that he's growing men, and I call it rape. These little kids are not made for that. These beautiful little girls, aged 10 and under, I'm thinking of my great-granddaughters. This tears me. I would go around there, boot the door down, and I would shoot them. So I'm saying this, I probably shouldn't, but if they... You know, how do they get away with this? I don't know. But what really galls me is that Peters, Luxon and Seymour, now Winston is the Foreign Affairs Minister. Yes. Now I understand he knows their Foreign Minister very well, being there a number of times while they were actually putting together the free trade agreement. But he knew, and so did Luxon and Seymour knew. It's been going on for years that this country is literally raping their little girls, raping them out of existence, the ones that make it. I don't know how they did, but this is what our politicians knew, but they did nothing about it. They shook hands like shaking hands with the devil. I don't want him to come into this country.
No,
why would you want that monster?
Yeah. Well, this is the disturbing thing, is that they think, okay, that's happening in India. It's never going to happen here in New Zealand. But this is that slow creep, and, you know, where they look to get exemptions, and it starts off softly, like they want an exemption for hijabs and turbans and having daggers. But the more Indians that we get in this country from these particular faiths, whether it's
they're going to want exemption for this perversion.
They're going to want child brides to be accepted. They're going to want to be able to have multiple wives. They're going to want to be able to oppress women like they do in their countries.
Haven't we had rape cases already?
Yeah, absolutely.
Multiple too.
There's something for us as
from
women.
These immigrants.
A lot of these men make us feel very incredibly uncomfortable, and there's a reason, because of what, you know, they carry. They are a very perverted culture. I mean, and I'll get hated for saying that, but
this
as
is
a generalisation. But you have to just look at the facts, and it's the country's
just
riddled.
On that point, Jen, I mean, how are parents going to feel in New Zealand now that we have mass numbers? It's out of control, unvetted mass immigration of these. There's a lot of these men that haven't been, when I say vetted, unfettered, they have not been checked for their criminal history.
Yeah.
We've already had rapes now and murders. It's just it feels like a dam ready to bust open.
Well, you only have to look at Europe, don't you? And
yes,
absolutely. You know, the British girls, they've had over 1 million, it'll be even a higher number now, but they've had over 1 million British girls raped by immigrants coming in.
Do we have to wait as Kiwi parents? Your children now are unsafe, and understanding that a lot of these kids are going to our education system now. We talked about that the other day. I think this is one of the big problems we're going to have, apart from the FTA, is the invasion into our education system.